Hold on. Time out. The people across the pond are nuts. Do you realize they're spending $30 million on security for the royal wedding?
And Chicago has the highest gas prices in the entire country.
We welcome you once again to Culture Clash. I'm Chet Kopic along with
Catherine Saxon.
Brought to you by Flood Brothers Disposal Service. You know, cut to the chase. I mean, for example, $30 million in security. I guarantee you that when Pamela Anderson Lee married Kid Rock, security on their wedding was no more than $8, and that included the lunch.
All right, so it's a little bit more expensive. It's this Friday. Prince William, who, I'm not really sure if I find him attractive or not. You know, if you take away the Prince Charming, I don't really know if I would find him attractive if I saw him at a bar or something.
All right, hypothetically, you're in Elbow Room on Division Street. It's 1 a.m. and Prince William walks in. Only his name is William Davis.
No
his
Prince.
Name is William Davis.
Okay.
Is he A, hot, or B, head to the next place?
You know, somewhere in between. I would just say okay. He doesn't really do it for me. But you had the Prince in front of it, and it's like, oh hey, let's sit down and have a drink.
Well, all right, let's really be hypothetical.
Okay.
Who's hotter, Prince William or me?
Can you believe that I have to deal with this? Thank God the show's only 15 minutes. Okay? All right, so the wedding is this Friday.
Yes.
And Kate Middleton is being called, well, she is technically a commoner. And I hate that term. That term really bothers me because then it makes me feel like I'm a commoner and that, you know, I feel a little degraded.
You went to high school in Libertyville. You are a commoner.
Okay, well, you know, at the time I thought Libertyville was the biggest thing on earth. So, you know, she's also, this is all over CNN. This is all over every news station. What hats people are going to be wearing. I'm wondering if Americans are getting sick and tired of talking about this because, quite frankly, I am. I'm excited for the wedding to be over.
Why do we care about the royal wedding? Because Barbara Walters says we should care about the royal wedding. Now, there are certain things I would do if I was in charge of the royal wedding. One, you know, you're not allowed to address the Queen Mother, Elizabeth, who was born in 1500, unless she speaks to you first.
Okay.
So I would, you know, I would clear the tables and say, go up and talk to the old babe, if you feel like it.
Okay.
Also, the wedding is going to be too straight, it's going to be too staid, it's going to be too conservative. Roll out the karaoke, get some AC/DC, get Prince Charles up there and let his bad side.
What I want to know is what are their bachelor and bachelorette parties going to be like? I do want to know about the dress, what dress she's going to wear, and I kind of want to know how much the entire wedding is going to cost. In 21st century, why don't we change it a little bit from it being so traditional? But those are the few things I'd care about. But it being more on CNN than the bombing in Libya, I mean, come on.
I got news for you.
Okay.
For the cost of this wedding, you could buy the state of Vermont.
Just that state?
And probably half of Rhode Island.
All right.
But I mean, the whole thing is it's just so ridiculous. The Weather Channel is over in London right now covering the royal wedding.
Covering the weather over in London,
lining
yes.
Up for spots on the street to gaze at the royal couple.
Let's not give them any more of our time.
And they're just commoners.
Speaking of engagements and commoners, Jay Cutler is officially off the market with Kristin Cavallari. He allegedly, People Magazine is reporting that he allegedly asked her to marry him last weekend in Cabo San Lucas. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think first of all, I would hope that the bride has more personality than the groom, and maybe the bride will actually conduct a press conference and finally lay bare the reasons why Jay Cutler didn't go back in the ball game against the Green Bay Packers in the National Football Conference title game.
That's going to be the opener for her next reality TV show.
Quite frankly, Jay Cutler strikes me as being a very difficult guy to be around 24 hours a day. So I have the over-under. I predict that this marriage lasts no longer than 2.5 years.
I don't even think it'll get to the marriage. I think it'll just be an engagement and they'll call it off before they actually run down the aisle together.
So you see Major League bust out already?
Yes, I do. Which reminds me, okay, so the NFL draft is on April 28th, and I'm predicting that we're going to have some issues there. Can you sort of enlighten me on what's to come?
Well, the Bears always have issues.
Right.
I mean, historically, the Bears always have issues, but you know, I mean, to kind of lay the whole thing bare, you know, they're looking for an offensive tackle and they need help along the defensive line. And but I think the big thing with the Bears is this. I think about not so much the picks who have thrived with the Bears as I think about the busts like Stan Thomas back in 1990 or John Theory in 1995. I'm certain those are both household names to you, right?
Just keep going.
Catherine?
Nope.
We were doing a hell of a lot better talking about Libertyville.
Okay. Well,
there's something I want to get to.
Okay.
John Travolta,
Yes.
along with Lindsay Lohan.
Yes.
And by the way, if Lindsay Lohan
In our
retired
trash news of the
if
day.
Lindsay Lohan retired right now, her legacy wouldn't exactly rival Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, it wouldn't exactly rival my legacy for that reason. I mean, what is a Lindsay Lohan when you get right down to it?
Well, speaking of her difficulties with the law, her felony was lessened to a misdemeanor, and she got 120 days in the slammer and 480 hours of community service. So that was what her sentencing was.
What kind of community service?
That is actually part of her sentencing. She has to do the community service at a morgue, which I know.
Great. Hey,
I know you said you didn't like my Sharon Tate joke.
She's going to be a toe tagger. What a marvelous job.
I know.
Who wouldn't want that for summer vacation?
Well, I know you didn't like my joke about Sharon Tate, but I mean, you have to admit that her career is as dead as the morgue that she's about to be working in, okay? So you have to agree with me on that one. Give me
All
a
right, well, here's the thing about the Dapper Dan, about John Gotti and the fact that Travolta is going to play Gotti in a
her
motion picture.
father-in-law, right? Okay.
Yeah, is nobody, let me rephrase, let me readdress the court.
Okay, start all over.
Michael Jordan and John Gotti wore suits better than anybody I have ever seen. Nobody ever wore a suit.
In your opinion.
Nobody ever wore a suit as well as Michael Jordan. And the Dapper Dan, John Gotti, God rest his rather peculiar soul, absolutely wore a suit like the good Lord said, John, I am designing suits just for you.
Okay. I don't know about Michael Jordan being one of the, top 2 people to ever wear an amazing suit, but
well, who would you rate above Michael Jordan?
I don't know. I think George Clooney wears a suit really well, but that's just me.
Yeah, but you're attracted sexually by George Clooney.
Well, are you attracted sexually to Michael Jordan? I mean, so anyway, I mean, she's to return to court on May 11th for her pre-trial hearing.
For being a great open court player.
She's to return on May 11th for her pre-trial hearing in her misdemeanor case, and then that's actually going to go to actual trial on June 3rd. So we'll see what happens. But 2 movies, during her trial and hearing, it just makes me wonder if this is just hype for these movies, and I'm a little skeptical, but I guess we'll have to wait and see and not put her career entirely on the slab just yet.
All right, now you remember Pulp Fiction,
yes.
right? 1994.
Yes, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Just a brilliant motion picture. It resurrected the career of John Travolta. This film is going to have the same effect in 2011 or 2012 for John Travolta.
He said it here.
That Pulp Fiction. You heard it here first. This is going to absolutely resonate throughout Hollywood. It's going to resonate throughout Middle America. This is going to take John Travolta as he now enters his, he's getting to a point in time now where he can start thinking out loud about carrying a double ARP card. This is going to make him very special in his older years. I guarantee you.
You know what? I think he's still special. I think that this will just definitely take him to the next level, and hopefully, without Lindsay Lohan, I just don't really.
But what's John Travolta done? I mean, did you like Pelham 1, 2, 3?
I didn't even see that, so I can't really.
Him playing a thug, stopping a subway in New York.
Okay.
To hold up the city of New York for $300 million. I mean, when was the last time John Travolta turned out a film where you walked out and you went, whew, blow me away?
All right, I'll give you that, but I have to say that he has his major hits, and you have to give him credibility for those.
He's also wearing a lousy earpiece.
Okay. Not worse than Donald Trump, maybe. But all right, so in political news, can we talk about former governor of New Jersey, Jim McCreevy? He obviously abruptly resigned in 2004 after he came out as a gay American and also admitted to extramarital affair with a male staffer. So the New York Post reported Monday that the church has deferred his bid to join the clergy. He wanted to pursue priesthood. So, I get that this has sort of been put on hold because obviously he's had some infidelity issues and he's definitely had some turmoil with the press. And I mean, he went out in public and said, I cheated on my wife, I had an affair, I'm going to resign. I kind of get.
He just wants to know if the male staffer was any good.
I'm sure. Anyway, let's just not even go there. But I have to understand.
Well, the state of New Jersey has to go there, and the clergy has to go there, so we may as well go there.
All right. Well, I mean, you have to. His wife actually has a book out about him.
By the way, why are you blushing?
It's just the blush. It's not. It's fake. But his wife has a book out on him that isn't very flattering. So, you know, I think that they're saying let's wait a little bit and let sort of all of this subside, and then maybe we'll consider you into our priesthood.
The Gay Governor, now available at your nearby Barnes & Noble or Borders, if there are any left.
GOP Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour, this just in, said that he won't run for president 2012, which, I mean, I was on pins and needles about that one. I was really with 85% of America who really had no idea who this guy was. So I can't say I really care
Well,
either
literal
way.
translation, didn't he say, I'm not certain if I have the fire in the belly or the passion required to hold the nation's highest office? Literal translation is this: I can't raise any money.
Well, have you seen a picture of that guy lately? Because I'm pretty sure he's doing pretty well in the belly department, if you know what I mean. He has enough chins as a, you know, Chinese phone book as well. But, you know, he set himself up for that one. I mean, in the
So
belly
you're saying
department,
right now,
what is...
you're obviously saying right now you do not date fat guys.
No, I was just making an, you know, an obvious joke out of a statement that he made. He set himself up, and I just kind of spiked it over the net right there. That's what that was.
Well, the spike was out of bounds.
Oh, I thought it was in. Get your eyesight checked. Get your eyesight checked.
Date fat guys, for which you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay. Anyway, but in you know, to go back to my point, what I was trying to make, Ron Paul is supposedly going to be running. So that is just.
Did you say Ron Paul or RuPaul?
Which one is it?
Ron Paul.
Thank you. So he is going to be running. So, I mean, he's at least somebody that I know something about, and this will be his third time trying to make it as a presidential candidate.
Well, here's the big problem that I see right now as we approach 2012, and it's not going to be all that long before we have the
It's scary
Iowa caucus
how soon it's going to be coming up.
and the New Hampshire primary, and the whole process begins all over again. Is who do the Republicans run against Barack Obama? Palin is not electable. Huckabee is a nice little Southern boy, but I don't believe he's electable. Donald Trump is hysterically funny. But
it's a joke. I hope that it's a joke.
Hope.
But he's doing well in the polls, so we'll have to wait and see. All right, so Dolphins wide receiver, you've obviously heard about this in the news. Brandon Marshall, the stabbing from his wife. I'm thinking that this is over some sort of infidelity. Made me think of Tiger Woods' wife while she, you know, was chasing after him with the, I don't know.
A 5-iron.
Okay, 5. I didn't know if it was 5 or 9 or 10 or what it was, but
There is no 10 iron.
it would okay, you know, 11, 12, 13.
We have a bulletin here on Culture Clash. We'd like to report that if you contact our website, we are now selling 10 irons.
10 irons. Woo! There'll be a picture of me holding one. It's huge.
All I can say about Brandon Marshall's wife is this: thank God she missed high.
Well, she actually made a statement that said, I should have aimed lower. And when he first gave his, you know, a statement to the police, he said that he tripped over a vase. I mean, that's the best he could come up with.
I bet you he won't press charges, and I bet you he will not testify. Because I have an idea this all began with Brandon Marshall presumably putting her in a very threatening position.
Well, he's had abuse charges in the past with ex-girlfriends.
We ain't talking about a choir boy here.
I don't think so. He has a bad track record, so you know I'm seeing where this is going. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but also you're not big on dating athletes to begin with.
I'm not big on dating athletes at all.
Why? That's actually kind of prejudicial.
No, I just think that this, for my experience and people that I know that have dated athletes and, you know, obviously in the press and stuff, that they sort of live up to their stereotype as being bad boys, and it's just not really a good path to go down.
But if I told you right now that you could date the rocker of your choice tonight, you'd go for it in a heartbeat.
Cautiously. Cautiously.
In rock and roll, there is no such thing as cautiously.
Only 1 foot in the water. Tread lightly.
No. It's not going to be that way, Catherine.
Okay, well,
get Libertyville out of your system. I'm telling you, get Libertyville out of your system.
When you get me a date with a big shot, then we'll talk, okay?
All right, suppose
that's your goal for this week.
Suppose you had the chance tomorrow night, one night only, to go on a private yacht in the Mediterranean Sea with Mick Jagger.
No. No, he's too old. I'm sorry.
Think about the way he sings Satisfaction.
Okay, I'd have to close my eyes. Envision somebody else.
What a great tribute. Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Mick Jagger.
If I could go back in time and date Elvis when he was exceptionally attractive, then, maybe in those white pants.
I can even say this. Elvis, when he was young, was just incredibly good looking, especially when he dyed his hair black. And if you look at his concert from Honolulu, or the comeback concert back in 1968 when he was wearing the leather jacket with
he
the leather
dyed his hair?
pants.
That wasn't natural?
No, his hair was kind of like my color.
I was going to say,
again, this
natural.
is not my natural color, so what the hell am I talking about?
Either's this.
All right, that is a wrap-up for Flood Brothers Disposal Service. I'm Chet Kopic.
Catherine Saxon.
Next time around, we'll catch you right here on Culture Clash.
Bye,
So long,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.